But it was a long haul this fall, and before
And
that.
I knew he had to go to Indiana the next week, so.
Well, and the problem is if you drive him conservatively, it shows. Because he'll put in moments of brilliance and then blah.
Yeah.
He's looking better as he goes, actually. He's getting more up in front and more down in the butt. And Kathy's going to be recording you so you don't get away with a thing.
Yep, it's working.
Pretty nice.
We did a lot of canner work yesterday, so.
That doesn't hurt anybody. I do a lot of. I was at a place on Wednesday. I call them the horse enablers. They're the nicest bunch of people. Lovely, lovely older women. But their horses never have to work very hard. And then there's one pony there, the owner's pony, the Arab mare. And she can go out and canter the whole lesson and doesn't know the difference because she's very fit. And I said to all those women, you know, your riding horse should be able to canter as much as a driving horse does with a 78-year-old man driving it. And it was, we trained it as a 4-year-old. It's now 16. And the rest of it's work he's done himself, and he's not a trainer, with one lesson a month from me, and it goes like a charm. But he'll canter all day if you want.
Yeah.
These people don't canter. They get one whole 20-meter circle at the canter, and they're thrilled. Ooh, that's nice, but that's not really using your horse.
Yeah,
Canter's not used enough. I go out and canter 10 minutes in the ring.
There was I don't know, maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks that I didn't do any canter schooling at all because they're so picky about it at Villa Louis.
Oh, yeah.
They break into it, they take like one canter step and you get 10 points.
Yep. But of course, I find the more I actively school canter, the less likely they are to volunteer it. If I school it, they kind of like, okay. I forgot who judged Villa Louis this year. It wasn't John Greenall. Well, I don't know who it was.
It was a guy that did a girl that.
That's neat. So he must have been open pony champion.
We were utility vehicles.
Oh, utility champion, okay.
But then Molly was showing too.
Ah,
So that way we could share cars.
so you used hers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used the dough run and Molly used the same thing as you used.
Oh, good.
Molly did really well too.
I would think so. Very few kids have as good a horse or drive as well as she does. Oh, Kathy's even the pickup crew. Thank you.
The bucket's on this
I didn't
side.
even notice they'd done it.
But yeah, I saw it.
The dirt is just the right color. It
Yeah.
kind of blends. So I bet Molly's having a ball with that horse.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been doing volleyball and marching band and jazz band.
Well, Molly does a lot.
So she's only been working him like once or twice a week. But I think,
Well, she got 2 ponies, too.
right, she's been riding Rainy too.
We got Rainy and Diamond.
Now she has a couple weeks break, so. Which I was all excited. She said, you know, after volleyball, she had to go to practice in the morning.
Uh.
At 6:30, because they had games at
Oh,
night.
my goodness.
So last week was her last game, and I was so excited. And then she tells me, she's like, oh yeah, by the way, Dad practices at 7 in the morning. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and
So
Fridays.
nothing's improved.
I'm like, dang it. And then she's like, well, I need $30 for my basketball uniform, which is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm like, dang it.
So much for the cheap help. Well, it's good that she does lots of extracurricular things.
Yeah, well, she's running for student council.
I love all that about her.
Her and Ben do culinary, whatever.
They're kids that are going to go far, those two.
She was thinking instead of, I think Pony Club is irritating her.
I don't blame her.
So she's like, you know what, I think maybe I'll just do 4-H and do that equine stuff with 4-H.
I think she'd like it better.
Because,
I can't see that Pony Club's made a horseman out of Laurel.
well, and the biggest thing is, you know, like, apparently they have a rating this weekend, you know, I think that was about the only thing Molly was interested in doing.
Yeah.
Was, you know, she likes the quiz valley, but the ratings, you know, she wanted to.
Well, she's a little bit goal-oriented, which is good.
But they don't have, like, they never would schedule them and never would schedule them, and apparently they sent me a text yesterday saying, well, Allie's gonna be here on Saturday, can we use your arena? I said, well, I already have a clinic this weekend. And then last night, you know, he sent a message saying, well, few lessons, or, and Molly's like, well, it would have been nice to know that they were doing it.
Yeah,
Why am I not informed that they're even doing the ratings?
because they're not very organized.
And that's what she said. She's like, it's just silly, and, I don't know.
Is it a parent-run thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and when Mandy was the DC or whatever, she let everybody know everything that was going on.
Well, they're supposed to.
But now, there's nobody, it's so discombobulated.
It's kind of like, what's the point?
Well, yeah.
And anything they give her to do, she can do. She'll learn it and do it. And I don't think they help her writing a lot.
No, not really.
But she,
Well, and they don't really have necessarily, I think it drives me batty too, that they're so unopen to anything else.
yeah.
Like, no Western, no trail, no drive, and they're not.
And when I was doing
They're not necessarily interested in
horsemanship,
mowing like plunging.
no. When I was a pony club instructor, I wasn't a DC, I was an instructor. We had driving. Whatever the kids were interested in, we did, because it was all about horsemastership.
Yeah, that's how it should be. They were looking for something that was, come on, a little more down.
Over the butt, over the butt, over the butt, and no head up in the transition, in the
Yeah.
direction change.
There you go. They were looking for something that the kids could do in the winter without having to haul horses.
Well, they could come here and drive.
Well, they could come here and drive, and I even said, they could come and learn to ground drive and do really actually good lunging.
We'll do stuff that they can use with their own wood.
Kathy Gibbs that can do. She did training for correct lunging.
Yeah.
And I do quite a bit of ground driving and stuff. And they said, well, what are your pony club credentials? And I said, well, I was forward as a child, so I don't have a pony club rating.
I never
And
did.
they said, well, we'll wait then.
I didn't either, but I taught a lot of pony club.
They said, well, we'll just wait and do nothing.
Yeah, I had an advanced instructor's license from the state of Massachusetts, and I had an instructor's certification for a year in college. But I didn't have a pony club rating, and I still taught pony club all the time.
Yeah, so
We
I
actually,
think maybe it's
we actually have some material. They need to, boy, this cat looks good. Come on, Speaky. Come on.
I think maybe it's just this pony club. I don't think they're also
No, there's a huge.
objective to any other discipline.
No, there's a huge. He needs to bring a more yield button belly. My friend Bill Warren, who's a great instructor that I spent a lot of time watching, always saying, remember, bend, turn, and yield. Meaning as you bend and turn, yeah.
So almost take a little bit shoulder forward.
Well, yeah, or even a little leg yieldy in the butt,
Okay.
because that's easy, yeah. That immediately lines the neck up, and you don't have to discuss putting your neck down. It also makes more correct motion. You have more push, you have more lift. You have freedom of the back end now because you lined it up with the front end. So every time you turn, send the butt out. You can't get too far out. There you go. Good, good. And the neck will come down because that's the answer to, that's the answer to lining up the back end. Yep. I don't think it's that hard for him.
No. I think he just kind of goes, and
It's-
he also, he had a week off.
But that shouldn't matter. He's had enough work. And he's naturally a little lazy in the back because it's a little high.
And
But
he's, as Molly refers to him, he's a wiener dog horse.
he's a dachshund. But he's got that huge butt, which I'm sure is how Paul May got around with his brother, because he was way worse overbuilt than this thing. There. Now he looks like he's coming to your hand.
Yeah.
So almost, I don't know any time it's not. I would say always the way to the mouth is to line up the body. Yep, a little more line up. Nail your butt to the outside shaft. There we go. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. You feel the power you get?
Yeah.
But you got no speed change. And that's what you want, is the power to build, because that is when he gets from hacking to really working. And push his butt over, butt bend, turn, yield, yeah. Then he comes out of the corner going to the bridle.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing I think we
He needs to be more committed to being in the bridle.
Yeah.
And the way you get that is by more bend of the body. And the riders have shoulder in, haunches in, shoulder fore. But the driving horses get very clever at coming shoulder fore without engaging the rear end. Now you tell him, here comes shoulder fore. But if you don't engage the butt, he says, aha, I gave you 50%, and you didn't even notice. So they have to engage the butt laterally. And the riders, the ridden dressage riders, they're always going sideways somewhere.
Yeah.
Like I was working on the Pre-St. George test with Jordan the other day. He's my favorite dressage student, my funny little 29-year-old guy who I'm sure is gay, but he's a glorious rider. And in the Pre-St. George test, you have to come shoulder in to an 8-meter circle at E or B, and then leave in half pass. And you have to you can drive it all day, ride it all day. You're not going to get it until you get the butt lined up for each movement. And I had been at a show the weekend before, and I knew what they were supposed to be doing, and I couldn't see them doing it. So if you get the butt lined up, it's just as important for the driving horse, but harder to do.
Well, and it probably would a little bit help too if I could think about keeping his butt lined up when he gets a little bit fatigued.
Yes, if you could.
His butt doesn't pass his
If you can have line the butt up on the outside shaft becomes sort of an automatic thing, then you can control what happens when he falls out the front.
Yes.
I mean, theoretically, he shouldn't get fatigued, but 4 weekends in a row and all that trucking can be fatiguing. And
And it was, I was fatigued.
Right.
It was 99 degrees, and it was.
Well, and he doesn't have the advantage my horses have, which is
And they're
they also do 25 miles.
Right.
Mine do 25 miles, 30 miles. They don't know where fatigue is. When
I
they're
mean, it wasn't bad in any means. He just
Just-
kind of like, his butt was just kind of like,
yeah, the shine was off
he
of
was
it.
really, really trying.
Yeah. Well, and they don't know unless they've been a long distance what fatigue really is. So they think they're tired. That's a good boy. A little bit the head came up. And again, that cuts down the quality of the gait change. So you have to remind it not to lift its head and then go whatever you're doing. There, good boy. See, that was really, truly body bendy. That was the hips around.
Yeah, and then I could see that hamstring muscle.
Exactly. It's like that 10-meter circle in the old FEI test, and it really had to be a 10-meter half pass. When they had, like your horse is traveling in half pass mode right there. And it makes a little circle so easy. Now move the butt, move the butt, move the butt, move the butt. Have to do it gently with the stick, not with the lash. Otherwise he pops his head up and goes, man, she's beating me.
Like with the hip part.
Yes, yep.
Instead of trying to get his belly.
Don't worry about his belly, because that'll make the head pop up. Just pop his butt over with the stick. Way down low by the shaft. Yeah. You didn't ask for length, but you got it. He didn't go a whit faster, did he?
Nope.
You should have seen the stride change. Good. So use the stick part low on his thigh. And when you're going in the new direction, hold, and bump over. Hold, bump over. There. That's the answer you're looking for, eh? And you got to do it enough so that he doesn't go, man, she's beating me.
And then,
When was the last time you beat him?
just a little bit to remind him to not his head up to
Yes.
the inside range.
Tweak it, yep. Or hold it, yeah. You held it and he would, oh shit, let go. And you want him to know that when you hold the rein like that, you can go in and get his gizzard if you want, or he can let go. That was a good turn, eh? Good. Hold, yeah. So you held a little, and he said, oh, that's a lot, which it wasn't. But his answer was to go where he belongs. There you go. That time, he rounded his neck and lowered it and lifted his withers like there. He's beautiful.
They'll stay there.
Yeah. Don't let his butt fall in. I think if you keep the butt position, the belly will go on the trick. And I think it will offend him less if you speak to his butt. Because if you speak to his belly, he's like, "Oh, man, she's beating me again." If we're going to beat you, you'll know about it. That's nippy this morning. I brought enough clothes to be here in the winter because I didn't trust it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be I don't know.
Low
I
60s.
give up trying to figure it out.
Well, it sounded like low 60s,
Yeah.
which I'm sitting on my ass doing nothing, getting chilly. This is,
It's supposed to be wet.
yeah, tomorrow I think. This is, make nose go, yeah, yeah. So you weigh, that's the other thing, the way you make the nose go down and want to stay is you hold till he sits like that. And he says, oh, excuse me, could I find a way out? And the way out is, put your head down. And they very quickly learn, hey, good, good. And he's lowering his head now without drop. Now move the, ooh, ooh. And the way you get the horse to move over, when you ask it to move over and not go faster, is by saying with the hand, but you got to wait. So you sort of make the front end into a pivot, like that.
You kind of wait with the outside
Yeah,
rein.
exactly. You wait, and good. Wait, yeah. Then you get engagement, eh?
Yeah.
Because you didn't let him run out the front. So, you know, when people are out trail riding, they can't control their horses, they're leaping and carrying on, it's because they've stopped the front end. In your case, stopping the front end is a good thing, because then you get, yeah, good boy.
This will probably help him be able to do his collection a little better too.
Much better.
Start it.
I bet you had one of the best slow trots in captivity at Villa Louis.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was. And he had a really pretty good strong trot too, but he couldn't hold the lengthen.
Yeah, well, he gets tired.
But you know what, he could do a nice lengthen down the long side and then kind of just suck back a little bit and put his trot down.
Well, you know, actually,
Good trot and then lengthen down the long side.
you can get away with that, because they don't watch all the way around.
Right. A lot of times people just kind of show off for the people where.
And even if you can only do that, the rest can't do that. I think Katie Whaley said it best. He said at Villa Louis, they have fabulous carriages, not bad harnesses, but not much for horses.
Right.
There's definitely a carriage.
Well, see, that's why the utility class, they don't care about the carriage.
No. Nope. They don't care if you have your
They
great...
don't even bother with the turnout class, which is fine with me.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I think turnout with a utility carriage. Stay down. Yeah, so you needed a tiny bit more resist, eh?
Yeah.
And so your mental
I think I
process,
let go of him.
yeah, your mental process should be push him around the bit. There. Now you got a rear end this way. See, now he doesn't look like he can't get his butt under. Push him around. Ooh, push him around a bit. Yeah.
So maybe I have to soften my outside hand a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. You have to do a lot of hold, almost till it hurts him, and then ease, and hold and ease. And that's actually what half faults are. And that's what keeps him honest. Because now he looks like, there, you got it. And he's hunting your hand. Good boy.
Yeah, and I think
And you just freed up the rear end, too.
it's taken me a little bit to get used to actually having him in my hand.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jag.
It is a responsibility,
Naughty little cat.
but it's also which cat?
Jag.
What's he doing?
Eating a cardinal under the bench.
Oh, nice kitty.
Punching it. Swinging it
Oh, he's
around.
not done with it yet. And it got away.
Haha. I think I distracted him.
Well, shit, he says.
Sorry
That was a
about
big bird, too. He did good work, Jag, but he left. He may not be in good shape. We don't know. Do you still have Sue?
No.
I think Sue disappeared last time.
I ate by the coyotes.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Did you find the remains?
Yeah,
Ah.
he found a whole, there must be a whole pile of pens out there.
Ah.
We found a couple piles of dead things.
Who found them?
Adam.
Oh, wow. Yeah, good boy. And again, the stride got freer. He disappeared the last time I was here. He was here. Stick with it and soften. If he indicates a whisper that he might be going to give, just soften one rein, but don't soften both reins. Always about softening one rein. You take a rein, yeah. Take a rein, you soften a rein. You take a rein, you soften. And it could be either or. You know, I use the inside for bend unless nobody's home. And then I switch to the outside quickly. This is very nice. Very nice. So he's doing way more work
Yeah.
up through his withers than he ever has.
There's that bird.
Oh, yeah.
That bird was underneath it.
Yeah, I don't think Jaguar improved that bird any.
No, I'm pretty good at it.
It's right on the floor in the middle of the mirror. Right up against the wall. I think, Jag, you ought to go finish your work. Ooh, nice. How about that for a through trot? Well, I'm glad you're going to see it on TV, too. Because it's really nice. It's really worky. Boy. I think he's better with this hardware, too. Because you...
Well, like I said, I think it was taking me just a little bit to get used to actually having it.
Because the thing...
Pushing my hand rather than me always backing off.
Because the thing with the snaffle was when he comes into your hand, it's going to wiggle still. This one, if he comes to your hand, he can stop it from wiggling. You got a little head up again now. There you go. Good mobility. Good activity. And if he's too strong, just hold. There. And he answered you. Move the butt. Yeah, move the butt.
Good boy.
And the lower you can put your whip, like right on top, right above the shaft, the better. Because it really says, I use my whip more for move over than I ever do for go, because I speak and it goes. Butt out a little more. There you go.
I don't really ever use my whip for go.
Once in a while with Indy, because he's going down the road at 8 miles an hour thinking backwards. Wilson drove him yesterday for about 12 miles. He said, he spent the first 3 thinking backwards. I said, yeah. And he had his buddy Luke with him. He's always wondering where Luke is. Luke's Jenny's horse, and we go out together a lot. So they compete together, because Luke's green. He needs a role model, so he gets to go with Indy.
Hey.
Because Indy's even as a jerk, he's a fabulous trail horse. Go and go and go and go. Nice, good boy. Yeah. This is a much stronger butt and back. It's funny because he's dachshund-like, but his back is actually not that long. It's his underside that's long.
Yeah.
From the back of his withers, which is underneath his saddle, to the front of his hips, he's a very long wither. And it takes up a third of his back. So he's actually not very good job. He's not very long in the back, but the total pony from chest to butt is very long.
Yeah, and he's not very long in the neck, so.
What neck?
It's his, yeah, exactly. It's his body.
I like him in that empathy collar. Because he's got lots of room for his neck and lots of room for his shoulders. Yeah, good boy. And he didn't come out the front as much.
So, like, when I do legs and stuff, should I plan on getting his butt over and a little bit
Yes,
straighter
yes.
before I even let it go?
Yep. And do it coming through the corner so he can be coming out of the corner as he lengthens.
Move his butt over coming through the corner?
Yeah, before the corner. So if you're going to come from K, about there, move his butt over. Now go. Then you had the power. Yeah, good boy. Bring it back, push the butt out.
I
Comes
need
back.
one of those whips like Diane has that curves.
Yeah, exactly. Wrap around his ass. But see, that was a very good go. Come. Yep. Because it's supposed to come. Yeah, that time the back end went, the front end didn't. You have the opposite problem of everybody else where the front end goes and the back end doesn't. The front end went, the back end went, the front end could, oop, 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 oop. Now go. Ah, better. So you started it on the curve,
Yep.
and he didn't run. If you let him get straight, he runs. Because he can't. Most horses can't, but catch it on the curve. Now. Ah. And see what happens then is your outside hind leg is on the kickback phase, so he kicks harder, so it starts with a big leg. No. Go. Ah. So he stays down. It's much more lengthen, eh? And then kill it by bending it. Ah. That was really snaky. So you have to bend it on its way out, too. That's right. There are not this times that he needs to know they're going to be not this times. Because he's always saying, can I run? Can I run? Can I run? But when you have that much bend in actually you have 2 functions. You have bend in the body, flexion in the jaw. when you had that much flexion in the jaw, you got to move the butt out even more. There you go.
Doing a lot of just direction changes.
Yep.
Getting to move his butt back and forth.
Move the butt. Let him bring the neck and jaw around. Move the butt to match it. Because he gives really well, and then he gives the lateral flexion of the jaw really well. But if you don't move the butt, it gets lost in the body somewhere. Good boy. Good boy. Yep. You can trot and stretch. When I'm schooling my guys, I do canter for 5 minutes or whatever, and then I make them trot stretch for 5 minutes. They're like, yeah, it feels good to stretch. You're right. So after you push them a bunch,
Well, I figure if he could
let them stretch.
learn to stretch, trot stretch or whatever, and move his butt.
Both, yes. Be able to move his butt and trot stretch. And see, he's not running off. And not run off. Then you're developing the back. And every time you move the butt, you're engaging both legs.
He's got to figure out how to keep his stupid head down.
And, well, he's not sure he can. But moving his butt is the answer. There, good boy. Good boy. But he is telling you that it's nice to put his head down.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. Good. Good. And the thing is you're getting a lot of work, but it's developing work, not fatiguing work. That's really nice. Good boy. And he can walk with his head down. Good boy. That's kind of a big responsibility for him to walk with his head down. Because he's, well, no, I pick my head up and he'll stop. Well, no. We don't want to play that game. Good boy. That makes him so much fancier. And he'd kind of gotten stuck for a while at the same plateau, and he had to get the lateral functions to get better. He's actually very short-backed, and the rest of him's long.
Yeah, I was going to say, like when you ride him and you're sitting on him, it doesn't seem, that you've ridden really long horses.
His butt's right there.
He doesn't feel really long because he's right.
His butt's right there. But the underside of him is very long.
But we were measuring him for blankets, and he's 5 inches shorter than Diamond.
Oh, yeah.
But 5 inches longer from chest to tail.
Right.
Molly's like, he's a winter horse.
Well, he has a big rear end, and he has a big shoulder. And so they stick out both ends, but he's not that long. But Diamond's much taller.
Diamond's also very compact.
Diamond's a box. But this one, like from his saddle out to the point of his shoulder is a long ways, and it's a long ways from the peak of his hip to the back of his butt. He's just got a big butt and a big shoulder. He's a funny bunch of parts, and when he goes right, they really work. And he's looking less potty.
Yeah.
When he gets rid of the potty look, it really helps. He doesn't seem to be minding work.
No, I think he actually kind of likes it.
He's not being negative.
Now
anymore.
that he's,
Civilized.
well, yeah, I was going to say a little more confident in himself.
Yeah, he really is. He's not acting like, oh, this is terrible.
I haven't had any,
Any meltdowns
meltdowns for a while.
or blow-ups
Yeah.
where he goes, I can't take this and you're all going to die.
Yeah.
I like the fact that when you move his butt over, you're getting a lot of come to the bridle and then a freedom response, where he's boinging and floating and boinging and floating.
It seems as if he's getting a lot better about not sucking his neck
Yeah,
in.
he is much better. Because he's got, every time you move the butt, you're getting more engagement. Every time he gets more engagement, it's like, oh man, she built power. This is nice. I can do it. Because Lord knows, can you imagine if that little chunky, tough neck didn't have a big head on it? If you had a lightweight head, forget it. If he had that tough little neck with an Arab head, you would be in trouble. But he's got tough little neck, but he's got enough head to counterbalance it. It's a nice walk. And now he's had a little rest from his travels. He doesn't look tired at all. It looks like it made him better. And you kind of got to take the events where they come, even if they are 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah, well, I didn't feel sorry for him. I think that's.
You knew he could feel. What was the schooling show?
It was an eventing show. Like I didn't ride an eventing. Molly did it. And I I just took him and schooled him.
Molly rode Rainey?
Yeah. And I,
But he had to-
I took him and schooled him in the dressage.
And he had to truck and go somewhere.
And, and I just made him, he didn't do the jumps, obviously, but we schooled the horse.
Yeah. And they didn't mind.
No, they were happy to have, they have an open house they built a facility, or in the makings of building a facility on the Missouri River. It's like 2 hours from here.
And what?
It's called Middle of Nowhere Ranch,
Oh, that's cute.
and they're making
Is it still in Iowa?
It's right on the Missouri, right on the border of Missouri,
Yeah.
on the other side of the river.
Yeah.
But apparently it's all accommodation, so they have lodges and
Ah,
stuff.
it's a regular come here and do whatever you want type thing.
Yeah, they have polo fields and eventing courses and dressage.
Oh, neat.
And they're having like a free, everything's free weekend.
Yeah.
So they came yesterday, the day before, whatever, and asked, if, because I was asking about combined driving trails, and they, said, come down and, show us what
What you
what
need.
we need. And so I think me and Matt and Molly are gonna go down. Figure we pick Marek and he can go drive around, Molly can go drive around, whatever.
And see what they've got and what they can offer for you. Because Paul was saying, he can only get to 2 events, Kansas and the Skunk,
Yeah.
because of his work schedule, he can't go like as far as Indiana. So it'd be nice if there was something 2 hours away.
Yeah. Well, and
That's what you need to keep it going.
there's not really, that's why the Kansas City was our first CDE this year.
I know that's what he said. Well, he did Skunk.
We had Kansas City and Indiana, and that was it.
Well, he's done Indiana, and it's Kansas City and Skunk,
Yeah.
because he hasn't got time to go to Indiana. Because he was talking about selling Apollo. That's why I talked to him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because Lisa said she had somebody who would buy him and somebody else who would lease him and put him in a 4-in-hand. And he could have him back in 2 years. Well, depending on who's leasing him, I don't know if that'll improve him. I'd be more inclined to sell him if you want to get rid of him. He thought it'd be nice if we worked more.
Well,
Getting
if
back
they
at-
didn't, I can't understand why they have 8, 10 horses. They should
To get rid of them.
get rid of, keep the 2 that you drive.
Yeah.
And get rid of.
I said, if you sold him, what would you drive? Well, I still have Tilly and whatever Spot's name is. But that's still not horses to use. And he can't go anywhere. He can't get out on the roads anymore.
Right.
Well, he's stuck in his fields.
Well, I think they were thinking of looking at places in Minnesota.
Yeah. But he says the health insurance situation is such he can't leave his job. He was going to retire and move to Minnesota, but he said he can't do that. So he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I don't know if he's going to sell or not. I told him, think about it, because he'd go a long ways to find something as nice as Apollo. And now he's done the work and got him up to champion at Kansas City at prelim. And that's the first really good prelim he's done. I said, well, now you've got the work done.
Well,
Keep
if
enjoying.
they're going to sell any of them, why would they sell the one that they use?
Because he'll be.
Why don't they sell Raffy? He's a really nice
I
little
know.
pony.
He says, well, I feel bad he's not becoming what he could be. I say, he doesn't care about becoming anything. The horse doesn't care if he's not famous. Hi, Frank.
He could also be really not.
Yeah, exactly. He does have talent, but Paul's getting it out of him. He gets frustrated because it's hard to find the time and it's better. That looked like he just wasn't recording.
Yeah.
So make sure it jumps off the outside hind.
The same thing that reminds foot to stay over.
Yep. And of course that's harder because he's kicking off with the outside hind and then we're pushing him onto it. So it is harder, but it also is an amazing strengthening exercise because it really teaches him to jump on that hind leg. If you canter both directions equally, you're teaching him to jump on both hind legs. So, and that's what you need for good canter is to jump. So just come on, you. Did you ask for a trot? Yeah. Okay. Ha! He tried to start it with the wrong leg for a moment.
Yeah. He has to.
He had to recalibrate.
Yeah. Sometimes he has to sit and like wait a little bit. Go. Wait.
He was going to start with the wrong leg, and then he went, nah, what? So that, I don't know if he meant for that turn to get that wide, but it looked like he sort of wandered out of it. So remind the front end to keep turning. There. Feel him much better. And he,
Close my eyes.
yeah, and he shortened. Turning. So if you were, that's better, but it's still a tiny bit square. So if you were riding, we're thinking pirouette. Turning. There you go. Big difference.
And then your high neck comes out.
Yeah. Turning. Better. You didn't make much of a square that time. But the first several times, if the wall hadn't been there, you'd been down in Ames. And it's one of his ways, remember his right hind was his weakness when he was little. It's one of his ways of saving himself. Whoa, that's not pretty. Of saving himself. And every horse, any horse, they all will sneak to the level of least effort because that's how they survive. And so it has to be making sure he's giving you, this way, I don't get the feeling you can't turn. He turns fine. You should be able to, so you've got to take the rein when you make the transition and hold like you did to the other changes. Now turning. Yeah, so I needed to pivot around on his rear end, and he's like, nah, not so much. Yeah, now you got him. And you talk about wanting to engage the rear end. Now you've got the rear end because you're not letting him walk out the front. But he's just like your children. You ask for something, hold till he gives. Hold there. Yeah, wait till he gives. He's good. There, get it. Much better. So I want him to find that you're not going to let go when he does the giraffe thing or the camel. This is very nice, eh? Yeah. And you can tell this side's easier for him.
Oh, yeah.
It's got jump. The other thing he can do is work the spiral on the circle to keep the canter light off the front end. Come on. It's a little bit disconnected, that canter. Hold. Give. Hold. Yep, there. Now ask. Good. And when he gives you the neck, he gives you the canter, right? Jump. He's telling me he's a little bit tired. I don't know what his trouble is, but it's a little bit flat, eh? It's one. Ooh. Stay with him. Stay. Ooh. Stay with him till he gives.
There you go.
Very good. So you make it. He has to earn the release. Not that you release him. He has to earn the release by softening. This is better.
He has to let go first.
Yeah, he has to let go first. That's it. So look in and think spiral. Think spiral.
Inside
Turn
shoulder.
in. That's a nice big circle. Now make a smaller one. There you. Now he's telling you. Yeah, make it narrower. Smaller. Oh. He said, well, damn, then I got to sit. Well, that'd be the idea. So come in more. Because you don't want to waste time on obstacles going wider than you need to. It's something we need to practice, eh?
Yeah.
The jump off the right hind leg.
I think he gets a little bit.
He gets tired.
He's a little bit weak in that leg or whatever. And
He's weaker in the right hind.
Then his back end
And
goes,
he's beginning to have worked an hour.
Yeah.
And then you say, turn in, and he says, but I got to use my right hind leg. And you say, well, go ahead and do it. He goes, oh, no, I don't think so. So he needs to work on the spiral. Because he got 2 rounds of it really well, but it's hard work.
Sure.
And he's at the stage in his life we need to keep finding new challenges for him, because otherwise he will tell you what he'd like to be challenged by.
I think also he needs to work a lot on the transition.
Yes, yep, the down, because yeah, and well, everything with him is because he can. He's athletic enough, he can do it crummy and get away with it. But he needs to have the thumb screws tightened a little bit and told, no, you stay nice, and it'll be easy. Because when he stays nice, it is easy.
Sure.
But he thinks he's finding that job of least resistance, which is what all children, all horses do. Most people do it too.
Yeah.
Adults do
Well,
it.
if I learn to just hold him until he softens instead of going, oh.
You know, well, you notice he was softening sooner and sooner and sooner.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
weren't fighting with him, you're just saying, I'm not gonna let go. And he was making it soften, I know it's
Well, he
hard.
wasn't necessarily being belligerent either. He
Not
was
at all, he was
like,
just going, ooh, ooh, ooh. He's whining, but he did it. You're a very good boy, so he needs to work that
Okay.
left circle, because the left circle is supported by the right hind pushing, and he's like, well, that's work. Well, yeah, it is.
Jack's bird dead.
We're very sorry, but it is work. You did very well, mister. You're a good boy.
Has he had an injury, Jada? Just curious. On the
No, he's been that way all his life.
No,
He's
he's
been-
just, it's,
He came to earth with a right hind that was lazy.
and I think.
And it
I don't
used to be
know
when
if
you
that has
asked-
anything to do with how long his.
No, it's
Muscles
just the way he
are,
is.
but like his-
Well, you know, think about
He's
yourself.
always had a little.
If you're going to go around circles, which direction would you go? I'll always go left.
Yeah,
If I'm going somewhere and
I'd always
I
go
want
right.
to turn and come back, I always make a left.
yeah.
And he's probably always made a right.
I see.
I would always make it right too.
Yeah, and it depends
Which is,
on-
you know what? I'll be driving around and I'll catch myself. I'm like, Jesus, I've just been going around.
Exactly, exactly. And we're,
minutes.
you know, you watch a cat and your dog, they're wired to go one way.
Humans.
We're all wired to go one
Yeah,
way.
one way is dominant.
And then,
Okay.
you know, you do that for, what is he, 12 now?
Yeah.
11?
11.
He goes one way for 11 years, and that one way becomes stronger. He has
Yeah.
not been injured as far as anybody knows.
Okay.
He does have the
Not
problem that
physically, anyways.
he's very butt high, which doesn't help. But
Yeah.
every horse I have is stronger one hind leg or the other. And the
Okay.
kind of work we do with the dressage, there's a lot of hind leg work.
Yeah.
So if you need this, and you'd have to just keep working to strengthen. Both of my horses, one's 12 and one's 22. They've wanted to be my right arm all their lives. Last year when I broke my left arm, they discovered I wasn't very strong on that side. They both changed, they wanted to be in the left arm. And now they're back to kind of stuck in the middle.
Interesting.
They can't decide which arm
Yeah.
they want to be against, because they got used to being on the right one for so long, and then
Yeah.
they discovered the left one. Now they're kind of in between. But it's just habits,
Okay.
physical habits. But I don't think any of us are actually straight.
Well, no.
No.
We just work at trying to get straighter.
Yeah.
Especially when you have like 17 different body parts put together.
You notice he's not tired of Krabby when you're done anymore.
No.
You
I
used
don't think he was really that
He used to just
tired.
stand there and give us all
I
a
think
dirty
it
look.
was more or less a, not necessarily that he was ridiculously tired, but that he was mentally, it was exhausting him.
Well, but he did a
Thinking
lot of
about it.
traveling, he did a lot of competing, 4 weeks
Well,
in a
and I
row.
figured, you know what, I'm doing 3 more lessons, so.
Yeah. Well, no, he did very well today, and he did his hour.
And once
He did really well.
I didn't wanna
No, we don't want to aggravate him.
pick at him and then,
No. But he did a lot today.
oh yeah.
Yeah, but we'll work on the left circle other days. He
Yeah.
did a lot, the best I've ever seen him do it, so we're not complaining.
Yeah, he is getting better. And he didn't, I mean, he wasn't being belligerent or anything.
No, and he did really well at all your shows, which is good.
Like I said, we got. So do you know what's his name? Steve Merriam? Merriam? Maybe it's
Steve
not
Merriam? I don't
Maybe
think
it's not Steve. Maybe it's something else. Merriam.
I don't know that.
Where did you run into him?
Pam Pollock. And apparently he does a lot of Morgan horse stuff. And
The only Miriam I know, and I'll remember his name in a minute, came from my neighborhood,
yeah, he's from Vermont.
and he moved to Florida, and he was the reigning self-appointed star in Florida for a long time. And then he just moved back to Vermont,
Yeah.
because he ran out of clients in Florida because he's not very good.
Huh.
What is his name?
I
Bet it's the same guy then, because she said, you know.
yeah, he's from Vermont.
Yeah,
Fred,
Fred
yes.
Merriam.
I was
And
close.
his son, Fred Jr., is just as much of a funny, this guy, he's a fabulous finished carpenter. He can do
Oh.
kitchen cupboards and household stuff
Uh-huh.
like you wouldn't believe. He's an amazing carpenter. And I'd known him forever, and he lived in my neighborhood, and all of a sudden, a bazillion years ago, he was doing doing cupboard work for a couple that I taught, and they were the kind of people you have to do perfect work or they're a pain in the ass.
Right.
And all of a sudden, he started hanging around my lessons, asking questions. And I thought it was a little weird, and I thought, well, just old Fred being nosy, because he is a curious person. The next thing I know, he's become the driving trainer at a new farm in southern Vermont. And he had no qualifications whatsoever, but he taught